All right, we're live. Welcome to the third show so far on a Monday night for Twisted Cat Outdoors. We're going to talk a little bit about the Alton, Illinois tournament, our season opener we just had. We're going to talk about Truman Lake coming in 2 weeks. We're going to bring Jason Hamilton. He was the captain of the first place team at Alton. It was a crazy weekend with the weather, the water, and all that stuff. We're going to also premiere the video that just got done by Daybreak Outdoors. So excited to show everyone that's watching the live or the video from this weekend. So let's bring our guys in real quick. All righty. All right. Jason, everybody good? Everybody can hear us all good?
Yep, I can hear you.
Give us some thumbs up in the chat if you can hear us good. Some hearts, some smiley faces. So Jason Hamilton, welcome to the show. This is our third show in a row. We haven't missed a Monday yet. Our goal is to continue this. So we want to do this every Monday night when we can bring new anglers in, different anglers in, kind of, have new people that are getting into the sport, learn techniques and explain, like, you've been doing this for a while, how what you've learned growing in the sport and getting to where you're at and stuff like that. So that's what we're really excited about. Yeah. So you know what, let's start off. What do you think we should start off with the video? You kind of got a little glimpse of it first. So everybody watching, I think a few people have jumped on. Let's get the comments going. Fishing with Big Mike. Tom's on. Big shout out to Tom. Also, he did our photography this weekend, and you guys, I posted the pictures today, and he did awesome like always. So big shout out to Tom. Mr. Berglund's on, your other partner, Nate Lardell. Okay. John's saying don't tell any secrets. Okay, we're gonna try to get it out of him. Okay, let's start. Let's crank this video up and see what people think. So here is the premiere of the March 4th Alton, Illinois tournament, the season opener, and great video. The fishing wasn't as great as last year, but the videos makes you want to go fishing. All right, here we go. 8 places today. It is some big money. 68 teams. Big shout out to all the sponsors, the spectators that came, anglers and traveling over 12 states. We got a lot of changes out there with the weather, the water, but it's going to be a great day here in Alton, Illinois. Hey, we're here in Alton, Illinois for the season opener for the Twisted Cat Outdoors 2023 season. We got 68 teams from over 12 states. Nate's been down that thing for almost 2 weeks. Okay, nice one.
Not bad.
Oh, look at that.
There you go. Turn around here and stack her out.
The weather's a little rough today. We have some high water, some stuff floating down, but it's going to be a good day. Big payout, 100% payout, $500 on big fish added. We're really excited to get this season kicked off. A lot of new things coming with Twisted Cat Outdoors this season. A big shout out to the sponsors and the anglers and the spectators, everybody that supported us to get here. Like I said, you don't want to miss this season.
Whoa, 67.62 pounds. Give these guys a round of applause. That is a monster. Go ahead and take them out and take them close.
Another thing was this. I would often have right now.
Hey, there you go. Come on. Turn around, put her out there.
Oh my.
Solid.
Oh my, that was close.
Close, 67.62 pounds. Give these guys a round of applause. That is a monster.
That is a solid fish.
3 real solid fish. Number 2. That's a good bag, guys.
All right.
Close. Got some suspense going now. Come be close.
All right, 25.30 big.
Oh my goodness. We are locked 70.71 pounds.
They did it, 70.71.
Oh, boy.
Second place, 70.05.
Whoa,
That's
that's
close.
fishing here. This team's like, well, that's good.
There you go.
Good job, guys. Get some photos.
Okay, third place with 68.59. Justin Thornton and Dwayne Buckridge. Third place, $2,740. Woo! Second place was 70.05. Montpeel, Pete Moreland, Kevin Hoffman, $4,533. First place in Alton, Illinois, 70.71, not much more than second place. Jason Hamilton, Eddie Henney, John Berglund, $9,066.
Everything we caught on the same exact spot, same way we caught them on Thursday.
Was there trash that affected those spots at all?
Absolutely.
Did you fish in the trash?
We tried to stay out of the trash, stay on cleaner water. There was quite a bit of trash coming down, but by about 10 o'clock we were out of the trash. Trash was already down and coming on down the river, and that was a big plus for us.
And we got a lot of new things coming. We're really excited. And thanks, like I said, we had a good kickoff for the 2023 season. 68 teams here in Alton, Illinois. So everybody have a safe trip home, and we'll see you here in a few weeks.
Oh, that kind of gets you fired up a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, if that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what does. What will?
That's pretty sick.
$9,066. So what are you gonna do with that money?
It's gonna go into some future tournaments. That's what's gonna happen with it. Split it between the three of us and put it into the future of catfishing for the rest of the season.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to cash a check early on in the season to help out for expenses and such. So that's the only right place for it to go.
Right.
Makes things a lot
Yeah.
easier to travel.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome video. That kind of, I bet you're excited. First place, season opener.
Yes. Been 4 years. Been chasing this Twisted Cat trail for 4 years, and finally a plan was able to come to fruition and be able to hit the stage and on a big one, and it felt good. A lot of hard work going into it, a lot of hours on the river.
Yeah, you put in a lot of hours, and we were talking earlier. I've had Jason on for a little bit, almost 40 minutes talking, and I jumped on and looked at last year's results, and it's still crazy looking at it. So we had 67 teams last year in 22 with a total weight of 2,466 pounds, which last year was a crazy weight. And I was telling Jason, he weighed 51 pounds last year. With his weight that he had this year, would have got him 13th place last year. And this year, we only weighed 744 pounds.
Wow.
Out of 68 teams. So, like you said, it's catfishing. Things change.
Yes.
We had this discussion with Jordan Collins last Monday. It was beautiful weather Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Everything changed. Water went up. Storms came in. Trees came down the river. Fog in the morning. A lot of spots that maybe people came in town and fished the weekend before, the Monday before, and then they come back and it's all out the window. So what are you going to do? What are you going to change? So let's dive right in. Let's talk about your pre-fishing. When you came down, what did you do? What were you looking for? Obviously you've done this enough, but as a new angler, like what do you do when everything changes, the 20-degree drop in temperature?
Right. Well, pre-fishing for me started actually about a week ago. Not on the water at all. I haven't been on the water since November 22nd, but up until last Tuesday. But I start breaking down the area on my mapping, Navionics. I've fished Alton, Illinois 3 years now, and I have only been down the bottoms twice. So I told myself that this trip, I want to spend some solid time down there, see what it's all about, because I've never laid my eyes. I've been down there a few times, but it's only been an hour or two here. It's always been during tournament hours. I've never fun fished down there. So going into the tournament, I had already had somewhat of a gut suspicion just from watching the river and what the weather patterns were doing and what was predicted, that it looked like the river was going to be coming up. So that played into my pre-fishing as well. I went ahead and broke down here in Adel, Iowa, and head down to, I started out at Blanchette and put in on Tuesday night and went ahead and went down into the bottoms. I spent 24 hours down there. My main focus was, I had some areas that I had looked at in Navionics that I thought should hold some fish. And I went to my first area, and the fish were there. They were in faster water. When I kind of look and break down mapping, I kind of look for a series of dikes that are going to do certain things to current to either slow down the current to make it different from the actual river channel itself. And once I was able to do that and then get down there and actually go to those spots and put fish in the boat right away, not big fish. I didn't come across anything over 22 pounds down, 20 in between the 22 pound mark down in the bottoms. Caught quite a few fish, but nothing big at all. Talked to John on Wednesday. We made plans for him to come down and join, and I met up with him on Thursday morning, and I had stayed out all night. So when I put in on Tuesday night, I stayed the night on the river Tuesday night, all day Tuesday. Wednesday night, I stayed on the river, and then drove up and drove back up river, picked up John. And when I got with John, we had talked, and we were both in agreement that there was two major things that were going to happen this week. And the number one was the cold front, and the second thing was the big uprise of the river. One of those is going to, take a precedence over the other one, I guess. And we were both in agreement that, we're not, at this point in time, we're going to go look for our tournament fish. And when I say tournament fish, I mean, we knew with the incoming weather and the uprise of the river that we're not looking for 70, 80 pound fish. If it happens, then fantastic. But we're looking for a consistent bag of, 340 pound fish or 330 pound fish. That's kind of what we thought that it would take to win the tournament. And so when we would set out that day,
this is on Thursday.
What's that?
This is on Thursday.
Yes, on Thursday when we set out on Thursday morning, we were both in agreement. That's kind of what we were going to be looking for, and find our tournament fish, leave them alone, and then we'll just fun fish the rest of the day. And that's exactly what happened. I had some areas that, like I said, I've been fishing Alton, Illinois for 3 years now, and I've got some areas that I really like. I worked off some old waypoints that I've formulated over the last 3 years. And one of the waypoints that I worked off of the fish were there. I mean, John and I got in this area, and it wasn't even 15 minutes, and rods started laying over. And then from there, we just decided, hey, let's work down a little bit and mark these areas. And every spot that we went to pre-fish on Thursday, we caught every spot but one spot. We caught fish. No giants on Thursday until we had kind of moved down a little bit more. And John and I looked at each other and said, well, that's where we want to tournament fish. Let's go see if we can't find a giant. And it was towards the end of the day on Thursday. You know, we knew that we had a long run to make back to the boat ramp, and we wanted to be back there before dark. And we pulled into this last little area. John really liked it. It was completely it was completely different than anything we had fished all day long. And John had a gut instinct. He said, you know, let's just pull in here, be the last quick spot. And so we went ahead and pulled in, got our lines out, and him and I were just kind of, you know, reminiscing and going over, you know, the day's fishing. And he stands up to reel up his rods, and I look over at my rod, and it is absolutely just doubled over, line pouring out of it. And I'm like, John, that's a fish. So we get up, I reel down on him, and I said, well, here's our 40 that we were looking for. And then that fish made a run to that river channel, and I said, oh, this fish is gonna be a little bit bigger than that. When he finally surfaced, him and I looked at each other, and we were just dumbfounded how big this fish was. It ended up being 89 pounds. And
Wow.
that kind of sealed the deal that we knew where we needed to go and find our consistent bag first, and then hog hunt the rest of the day. And that's exactly what we did on tournament day. And granted, we didn't find the hog, but we got our consistent bag and kept searching and grinding all day looking for that big fish. And that didn't happen, but it was enough to get the job done.
It worked out for you.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
did you catch on tournament day?
Tournament day, we caught 5 total fish. We had a limit in the boat by 7:45. We caught our 4th fish at right around 8 o'clock. And then I think John caught the last kicker that kicked one of our fish out of the box at like 10:30. And then we didn't have any more bites after that at all. So, but I also noticed that once that fog cleared out, you know, we were heavy set in fog until right around 9:45, 10 o'clock. Well, when that fog got out of there, the wind had kicked up, blew the fog out, and we had noticed that with the wind coming through, that is when our bite turned off.
I'm curious, Jason, not necessarily for this tournament, just in general. You're kind of known for staying out on the river for 3-4 days at a time, sleeping on your boat, fishing all night, all day, and you're known for catching giant fish at night. Do you put any stock, if you catch one of these giants in the middle of the night, do you put any stock in that towards a tournament day, or is that just a fun fish? I mean, do you think it matters the time of day, where you're at, what you're doing, or is that just, you know,
Well,
you're out there and it's fun and all that? You understand?
if you catch, I mean, my night fishing, is it productive for me coming into a tournament? Absolutely. Those fish aren't traveling 20 or 30 miles to go feed at night. Those fish are traveling, I mean, I hate to say it, but they're lazy fish.
Right.
They're not going to travel a long distance to eat. So if I find a fish at a place at night, I know that during the day he's going to be somewhere in that vicinity.
I got you.
He may be a quarter mile upriver, he may be a quarter mile downriver, but he hasn't moved off far.
I got you.
So I know I get a lot of I'm not going to say crap, but you know, guys give me you know, crap about fishing at night and stuff, but but it's beneficial just because of that simple fact that it gives me an idea of what's in the area.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't, even if it wasn't beneficial, I mean, who doesn't like catching a 90-pound fish in the line?
Absolutely.
It's fun no matter what, tournament or not. So
Yes.
it's not all about cash and checks for everybody, you know. I mean,
No.
we love this, no matter if it's for money or not. So
Absolutely. It's our
The money
passion,
helps.
you know?
the money is nice.
Money helps.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
So start off with tournament day. You get your live well, your boat checked, and you leave and you go to your first ramp and put in. It's not like beautiful and warm. It's kind of
No, it was so.
because you didn't.
when
I
we
mean,
got-
you didn't go on the water Friday.
No.
You
Our
called me and
plan
said,
all
"Hey, you
along-
want to go to lunch?"
Yes. So our plan all along, when we had talked to John and Eddie, that I needed to get down there, I wanted at least 2 days on that water, and Friday was not going to be in contention, just because I didn't want to go out and try and fish and pouring down rain, wind, and all that stuff, just because I didn't feel like it was going to be beneficial to me. If we could find the fish on Wednesday, Thursday, leave them be for Friday. Don't even be out on the water, and hope that it helps out on Saturday. The plan comes to fruition on Saturday.
you hope nobody else sees you there or just happens to stumble on them anyway. I mean,
Yeah, yep. That, and I mean, who wants to be out on the river in 30-mile-an-hour winds and pouring down rain, 32 degree water?
right.
So, but tournament morning, we got to our ramp, and like Alex said, it wasn't rainbows and unicorns. It was floating trees and fog, and I mean, I haven't seen a river. I haven't seen the river that evil, and me trying to put a boat on it in a while. But once you got out there, I think that you had to take it slow. Uh-oh. Excuse me.
I know you mentioned that you got high enough up that you kind of got out of the trash eventually. Do you think that made a big difference for you that you weren't in that junk floating down?
Absolutely. That was also a part of our plan, is that we needed to get up and above. If there's a slug of water that's going to come down, which I wouldn't necessarily call it a slug, but it was jumping up quite a bit from Friday night to Saturday morning. With that initial jump, a slug of debris is going to come down with it, and then as it slows out, you're going to just get strands coming down. And we got lucky to get up above that slug to where we only had to deal with it for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours of the tournament, and then after that, it was very clean.
Yeah.
I mean, by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, on our way back up to the boat ramp, I was able to open the boat up and go like normal. That's how clean it was up there.
Wow.
So absolutely, because I think the guys down that fished the bottoms and fished further on down river, they probably had that debris to contend with all day long.
Probably, yeah.
So let me ask you this, because I actually I keep remembering, we're weighing boats. I'm typing all the weights in, and I see you, and it just in the corner of my eye, just by the pillar, you're in the truck, and you're just kind of chilling there. And I don't know who we had just weighed, but Mike and them guys have been in the hot seats, the smooth move hot seats for a while. And I said something to you. I said, "Oh, we got some big weight coming up," and you're like, which you said that you hadn't watched it. So when I asked you that at that point, did you have any idea what was winning?
No.
So you probably thought, did you know what you had for weight?
No, we didn't put a scale on anything. We had no clue. We knew that we had 3 fish that were all very similar. We all guessed between the 70, 75-pound mark. But I didn't watch any of the live feed while I was trying to drive, just because I was trying to stay focused on getting from A to B.
Dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not watch the live feed while you're driving.
I know, but even in line, I didn't watch the live feed. So literally, when I pulled up, got out of the truck, I didn't know what it was going to take to lead. I don't think either of John, Eddie, or myself didn't know what we needed to be in first place when we walked on stage.
You know, it's funny, and especially in Alton, but a lot of guys, I haven't heard anybody say this yet, but a lot of guys would probably throw back 20 or 30 pounds in Alton and just say the heck with it and go home.
Right.
And, well, like our 8th place team, they weighed, 36 pounds, and then they just left.
Well, eighth place weighed 3750.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we did a polygraph. So we polygraphed 2 people in the money. So I did a random draw on 2 people. It was like whatever, 3rd or 4th and 8th place. So I'm calling them on the mic, nowhere to be found. I'm calling them on their cell phone. They finally answer. They're at the gas station, grabbing something to eat and going back to the hotel. And I said, you guys got to get back. You got to take a polygraph and you got to collect the check. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're in 8th place. And they're like, no way.
No idea.
So,
Wow.
I mean, it's just crazy. You never, like I said, I mean, the weight difference, 744 pounds for a total weight in this tournament compared to 2466, 2,466 pounds. That's crazy.
A little under a third of the fish were caught this year compared to last year. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And, that's another funny thing. You know, when Eddie, John, and I were heading back, we all looked at each other at our very last spot before we went back into the boat ramp. And we all took a guess on what place we were gonna finish. I think I guessed like 13th. John's guessed 15th, and Eddie was right around in that number as well. I think we were all consecutive numbers, but we had no clue that 70.71 pounds would take first in Alton, Illinois.
I know, and I've got some. I just did some statistics. I love numbers. The big fish this year, because your guys, so big fish was 67.62. Second big fish was 65.95. First and second big fish teams didn't have anything to go with them, so that hurts. I mean, just one fish, and then it went 67, 65. Third place's big fish was 37, then 35, 31, 30. Seventh was 27.99. Your big fish was 25.30. So you just had some consistent fish enough
Absolutely.
to just get up there. And like I said, second place was 70.05 and you had 70.71. That was a cool moment, especially in the video where it shows, we're talking what's holding right now. They're in the hot seats, and I've been giving them a lot of crap for, the whole time they've been sitting there. And then you guys come up, and I seen you pull out, and I'm like, those are 3 pretty close fish. And when you had the 25, I thought this is gonna be really close. And then it hit perfect, like on the 70, and then just barely enough, just barely.
Just by the hair of their chin, I mean,
yeah.
You're talking a puked up shad, or it just unbelievable that. And Eddie, when we pulled out that night, Eddie asked me, "Hey, look in that live boat," because I had drained out the live boat. We went back up for the award ceremony. We came back, and I was just curious to see if those fish had got sick in the live boat at all, and they held everything in. Thank gosh, because literally that's what separates first and second place in this tournament.
Oh yeah.
Unreal.
Oh, I know. You know how many tournaments I fished and been directing now for so many years, and I see the craziest things. I mean, from gravel to anything. Just you wouldn't believe it.
We lost a substantial check in Alabama last year over a puked up skipjack, and we were like 0.2 of a pound behind big fish, and skipjack about this long in the live.
Oh yeah.
So it happens to everybody.
It does.
Yeah. Landon jumped on. He said, what was working any different, rigs, water temps, or structure? So I guess I don't know if we talked about water temp, which I figured the water temp dropped. You said it was because I'd heard 42, 44, and then you said it was 48. Is that right?
Yeah. So that was, earlier in the live feed, I had said that, there's 2 things going on with the river, the uprise of the river and then the cold front. When we got on that river and noticed that the temperature hadn't dropped much compared to where we were fishing on Thursday, that the cold front throws is out the window. I mean, that the water temperature didn't affect them. So now you're just dealing with a rising river with a bunch of structure or, a bunch of stuff floating down it. So literally we were able to go back to our exact areas that we fished on Thursday and catch fish. Our first set, we put 4 in the boat. They were holding in faster current. As far as the rig goes, pre-fishing, the Demon Dragon, believe it or not, outfished all the other rigs pre-fishing. And then I think that they had moved a little bit in the water column for the tournament day. They were mainly caught on Carolina rig. The Demon Dragon, actually 2 fish were caught on floats, or 1 fish on a float, 1 fish on Demon Dragon, and then the other 3 fish were caught on a Carolina rig. So but anytime I pre-fish, what's that, Alex?
I said you threw everything at them.
Yeah. When I go pre-fishing, I've got 6 rods tied up. I've got 2 Demon Dragons. I've got 2 Santies, 1 with a float and 1 without a float. And I've got 2 Carolinas. And the areas that I like to fish, I can fish those rods accordingly to the water type that I am fishing, to where every one of them should be effective. I mean, the Demon Dragons are going in the current, the Santies going in right outside the current, and then the slower area off of the break, I'm throwing Carolina rigs and see which one gets hit first. And if you can develop a pattern, I'll switch all my rods to that specific rig and that specific cut of bait.
So you travel around with a lot of pre-tied rigs and stuff like everybody else does, or what's your system there?
No, actually, I'm kind of on the fly. Before tournament, I make sure that all my rods are tied up and ready to go. As far as like if it's a bumping tournament, absolutely. I've got my rig rack full of pre-tied rigs, all that stuff. But when I'm on the rope, it's not very often that I'm fishing with the pre-tied. I make all my own, I guess.
I got you.
I thought I had a rig I was going to show you, but so this is the Demon Dragon you're talking about. This is one of those brutes.
Yes.
This thing is loud.
It's loud and it's obnoxious, and fish love it.
So you think
why
do you think they love it?
I think it's the rattle. I don't, Alex, I can't answer that question honestly because I just know that a lot of my big fish have come off the Demon Dragon. Even when I can fish a Demon Dragon and I can fish a float right next to each other, and the Demon Dragon is out fishing the float 5-3.
So maybe it's like a reaction bite.
It is. I would say it's a reaction bite, for sure. In the attraction of the noise. I mean, you got to think that Demon Dragon's doing this in the current, and every time it's moving, it's just sitting there rattling.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear that good?
Oh yeah, sounds like a baby rattle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? That'll probably be, just to switch kind of gears here real quick. That'll probably be my either granddaughter or grandson's first rattle. Will be a Demon Dragon.
Congratulations!
Yeah. Awesome. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
That's exciting stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you happen to have a rig in that Sea Arc boat behind you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, why don't you pull out a rig from this weekend and kind of show us?
So I don't use Demon
Beautiful looking boat there. Besides that, I don't know if you can tell that he must have anchored up on some mud.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that boat gets used.
I probably don't take care of it the best.
It's a tool.
I use it. I'm not afraid to put it in the rocks. I'm not afraid to, obviously I'm not going to abuse it, but I'm not afraid to use the boat for what it's used for.
Heck yeah.
Ugh.
This made for the abuse too.
Yeah, absolutely. I hate the word abuse. That's not the right word. I use it as a tool for what it was built. It was built to be used, and I use it for what it was built for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you do clean it because I've several tournaments. I'm packing up. You're over there wiping it down.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I try to
It's
get
my
you to come
baby.
over and wipe down my trailer.
Yeah. It's my pride and joy. I spent a lot of hours in that boat.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't know if you guys can see that or not.
oh yeah.
That is the rig this weekend that, I mean, it literally outperformed. Tournament day it only brought one fish in the boat, but
So that's a
that's
snell.
the rig right here. Huh?
So go ahead and start from the hook. That's a snell that you start with.
Yep. 8/0 rip and lip hook. Actually, no, this is a 7/0. Excuse me, 7/0 rip and lip. Hooker's terminal tackle, Demon Dragon. I like 4 fingers in between the hook and the Demon Dragon.
It
Is there
looks
a
like
That's what it is.
you're all knots, no crimps, huh?
I'm all knots. Yeah, Palomar knots. The reason for that, Alex, is that if you have more line up here, it just depends on where you're fishing. But I just want to make sure that bait is being elevated as much as possible with the Demon Dragon. The further you get the Demon Dragon up the line, if you're fishing in an area with no current or fishing in an area with slower current, it's not going to be up in the column as opposed to if you get closer to the bait.
Yeah.
And then I got a 13-inch piece or a foot, maybe 1.5 foot, slime line going just a swivel, and then an easy snap.
Okay,
So-
I like so you and what pound mono are you using there?
This is 40-pound slime line.
Wow.
40
I use
pound,
40,
man, that
40,
scares
50,
me.
and 60. What's that, Alex?
That scares me. 40 pound, man. I go 80 to 80.
I don't like the memory in the 80. 60 is about the top that I'll use for monofilament. I'm not going to say never, but very rare do I break off. Now, if you got braid on there, I'm not a big braid fan. I like my monofilament just because of the stretch.
And your main line is 40-pound mono too?
Yeah, 40, 50, and 60 is what I've got. The only reason why I had 40 on is because that was all that was available at the time.
I got you.
Until I could get my hands on some 50 and 60. So
Just between
Doug said 80 mono is like barge rope.
what's that?
I said Doug Rice says 80 pound mono is like barge rope, which
Right?
it is. It is.
Yes.
I use 80 pound Power Pro braid on everything, bumping, anchoring, and then from there I use 80 pound Andy's mono and love it.
Yeah.
But like I said, and we talked before, is it's all about confidence. I would not have confidence in your 40 pound or whatever, but that's just because I've not used it. I've always done the 80-80. And like I said, it's times, I'm sure that obviously you've been catching a lot of fish, so you're confident, and that's the most important thing. But because that's why I don't really tie a lot of knots. I do the crimps because it's tough to tie a 80 pound mono knot.
Yes, and to get it to stick, because you need to make sure that knot is actually clenched tight, and that's the part of the reason why I don't like the 80 pound is just because it's such a pain to get cinched down when you're tying knots.
Absolutely.
I'm not advanced, or I haven't got to the crimping yet. I need to. I know that John and Eddie, they crimp all their rigs. I know Alex, you do. Seth, you do.
Yep.
A lot of guys do. I guess I'm just a little bit old school.
Well, it's like
I like.
it's all about confidence. That's what this is all
That's
about.
right. I don't like change. Well, I just if it works, don't. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Right.
Absolutely. I use 100 100-pound and 80-pound, the braid and my leader. But when you think about it, we're only using 4 to 6 pounds of drag in these reels. There is no way on earth. I mean, the only thing that you're using that heavy of a line for is for abrasion. That's all it is.
Yep.
So if you're breaking,
and I do use 80 pound, and I think what do I got here? Hold on. Yeah, right here. I've got 80-pound slime line. Leader line is what I use for all my leader line.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about confidence. That's it.
Yeah, I've got 100 right here. Actually, it is thick.
Yeah. It's real thick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a little memory too. But I don't know. I got that 100 and I don't use it. I dropped down to the 80 because I thought this stuff's a little crazy. But I always get my crimpers, man. Get that crimping going.
Oh yeah.
I need to get into those.
That's a big shout out to Wade Kaminsky and Jake Hockey.
Absolutely.
We did a video with them last year. That's, when them two said that they crimped and I seen it, I mean, I was like, I would never do that. Like, how is that going to hold up? And then Jake was at my house and he showed me, I put some leather gloves on and put a hook on the tractor bucket and yanked, and it broke the swivel. So, I mean, after that, I went to it, and that's all. I stick with it, man. And it makes you have no line memory. It makes your rig look like factory done.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I still remember while I was watching, I ordered everything that they said to order, and I haven't tied a knot since. So
yeah, it's the big thing is that I think the advantage of it that I could see is that it's the consistency that as long as you do the same steps every time, that rig is going to be good every single time. It just, you don't have to worry about it. There's no changes in the rigs. I know that tying them knots with monofilament, they're hard to get cinched down. You could make a wrong step in tying a knot and you think that it's good and it's not. So the crimping, as long as you follow the right steps, you're good to go, and it's good 100% of the time. So
absolutely,
that's one of the advantages that I definitely could see.
I never had trouble with knots either. I saw the crimp so much easier and faster, less abuse on your hands and everything else. Pushed it, but they both work just fine. Obviously, they win tournaments.
That's right.
And like we talked about, it's what you're comfortable with. Tying knots is just, it gets, especially if you got a big tournament, you didn't do so many guys are out in the parking lot the night before tying rigs.
Yeah.
And then fingers are bleeding, if they're tying 80-pound. Just like John Berglund, your partner, said, I talked to him about crimps this trip. We started using them this year and loved the transition from knots. Yeah. And then Sean said crimping makes everything streamlined and straight. Started last year and it's all I use. So I don't know of anybody that's went to crimps and went back to tying. I mean, obviously, if you don't have the stuff, you know what I mean? One thing I learned is you had to have quality crimper. And they make a lot of crimpers. This is Jinko. This is what Wade and Jake used. So I just said I bought exactly what they used.
Yep.
Yes.
It was awesome. And I get the high seas crimps. And like I said, it's money. I love it. And like I said, and like everybody said, it's so streamlined. So you don't have that line memory. So when you're holding your line up, there's no crazy line memory. That's what I like about it. And I've not had any break or fail me.
Right. Fellas, you got to excuse me for a second. I got to grab a phone charger. My phone's about dead. Give me a second.
Oh, gosh. Come on now.
Come on.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask him one more question about that. And then we're going to get into Truman Lake, Missouri in 2 weeks.
I got a question about the Demon Dragons because I don't use them. Do you guys ever, or do you, Alex, do you ever notice the fish grabbing? They get scratched up, teeth marks and stuff like that, or have you ever had that?
No, because I put mine up from the line. So like what Jason did, if you notice, he had the front tied and the back tied, which, not that I don't trust them, but I actually run my line through. So I'll run my line through the front. And then when I go through the back, I'll loop it twice and go out. So then I can loosen it and then move it back and forth on my leader.
I got you.
So I noticed everybody's about half and half from tying it from both sides. But
to me, you get rid of 2 knots or 2 crimps by doing that. So I just run the line right through. I can move it up and down. Like I said, on the back, loop it twice. And it works for me. Which this is the brute. This is a giant. And I don't know. I mean, these things are expensive to buy, but when you're out there, you need every advantage you can get, especially when you're tournament fishing.
Absolutely. I need to. But what about you, Jay?
Sorry about that.
Have you ever noticed up and grabbing your demon dragon? I know you keep it pretty close to the hook, it looks like. So have you ever noticed the fish actually grabbing a hold of the demon dragon?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I can say on that one. I'm actually playing with a couple things with the brute right now that I kind of found last season. That yes.
I was curious about them not short striking, but sucking the whole demon dragon in with your bait or whatever. So yeah, that makes sense.
I've had a couple demon dragons. I've had a couple demon dragons that come in that are just they're not demolished, but that you can clearly see that they've been hit by something very large.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I used to bass fish. I came from the dark side, and like rattle traps and stuff. They come back, and by the end of a good day, you don't have any paint left on them. So I figured,
right,
sure, that's basically what it is—a big spook.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, when you walked away, I was talking about. I seen how you tied the front and the back.
Yes. And
then I don't know if somebody showed me, but I just thought instead of getting, having 2 more knots, 2 more crimps, I'll run my line through the front, through the back, and then run it again through the back and then down, so I can move mine around, and then it's less knots, and then it's kind of about half and half. That's what Rusty and Mike and Casey Tudor says he uses a rubber band on the Demon Dragon.
That's interesting.
That's a first. That's a first.
Yeah.
And Wally said it's $750 every time you break off.
That's chump change in this sport.
He said they hit my bright colored floats also. So yeah, everybody, it's like it goes back to Demon Dragon or a peg float or whatever you're confident in. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think sometimes when you're going by a fish and you've got that rattle, that might provoke a strike bite. And I need every spot I can get when I'm out there.
Yeah, especially in the chocolate milk we were fishing in this past Saturday with as muddy as the Missouri River was. You needed everything that you could get to try and get an attraction bite or actually for the fish to be able to find it.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was our thinking going into it. Granted, it only caught 1 fish out of the 5 that were caught, but still, anything that we can get in a muddy water like that, extra attractant's going to go a long ways. Something to grab their attention.
I'm laughing because Berglund said, "Sorry guys, he's got a little rookie in him still." I guess he's talking about you.
Oh.
Yep. You got to get on the crimping, man. I think that once you start crimping, I think you'll like it. Like I said, it's I don't know. I started doing it with Jake and Wade, a year or 2 ago now, and a lot of guys are crimping, and it's a lot easier on your fingers.
It's hard to something that's working for you though. Makes it tough, but it is.
Yeah, I guarantee you, the first time I lose a fish to a knot, it'll be the last time I tie knots, and I'll move to crimping. I promise you that.
We'll be using 200-pound leaders here before long and cable.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this: just one more thing about Alton, and then let's move forward and talk about what we got coming up. So everybody always talks, and I love talking about, like, I call it the dock talk, where it's the night before. You catch a fish on Facebook to kind of mess, like you kind of did that. I remember I was eating lunch on Thursday or Friday, and then I see a picture, or somebody sent me a picture, and it was just you and a big catfish tail. So, like, do you ever mess with people? Do people mess with you? Like, what have you seen? Like, especially with this tournament, everything's thrown out the window. Everybody's just going in kind of blind.
like, what were people saying? I mean, obviously you don't listen. I try not to listen to anyone because a lot of people like to, say, well, the fish are on the sand or the fish are deep, or, what's your thoughts of the dock talk?
Well, I mean, that's what makes it fun. That's what builds the camaraderie, to go in there Friday night and see all the guys, catch up with the guys. Heck, I mean, we're just coming off with it being an off season, coming into first opening season. It was good to see everybody at the meeting. And then, as far as the talk goes, most of the guys had the general consensus that everything that they had focused on and knew was basically out the window. You could, like Alex, like you said, write it out on a piece of paper and light it with the candle because it's poof gone. I mean, it's just, that river with everything that was going to change, everything that you had or that you thought you knew, it was out the window. So, and I think that was kind of the general consensus of what everybody was kind of talking about the night before. I had a few people come up and ask me about the fish, and I just told them that I'm not sharing anything until after the event other than just the tail. I don't know why, but keep people on the edge and, look forward to, there are monsters out there, they're catchable. You just do your homework and figure out where they're at and go get them.
Absolutely. It's funny being in our position because we're obviously not competing. So people tell us things that they wouldn't tell a competitor, obviously. And then you watch all these guys and they'll get in each other's heads, and you'll watch people completely change their game plan on just straight BS. And we stand back and kind of laugh about it, but you got to really take what you hear at the captain with a grain of salt. Nobody's really what they're doing.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yeah. And, everybody tries that, especially like when there was a trailering event, I had an angler come up and they'll say, where did so-and-so go? Where did so-and-so go? I'm not going to tell you where they truly went if I know, but I might say, I don't know. They went to Kansas City. They went to Cape. I mean,
right.
But it's, I don't know. I love it, and it's like, it's so exciting the night before, everybody hanging out, and everybody has their own little routine. You know what I mean? You have the guys that are, tying rigs till late at night, and you have the guys that go to bed early and get ready, but it's just, you never know on a day like we had, what the turnout was going to be. Our photographer, Tom, was asking what happens. Cause it was like, we had boats. My phone was blowing up, my watch. It kept going off and off and off. Hey, great tournament. We're heading home. No luck, skunk. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to change the payout because we don't have enough people weigh. I've had that before in Quincy, Illinois. It was a small tournament. Doug Rice, if you're still on here, I think Doug fished it, and only 4 boats caught fish. I mean, it was rough.
Wow.
So we had to change the payout to 4 places instead of like 7. And you have that. But like I said, these are some great anglers from all over the Midwest. And just like, when you came in, you thought you probably had no chance, but
no,
everything can change.
Any given day, I guess the only advice that I can give is to anybody that's still listening and all that when you're going into these events, take a little bit of time. Pre-fishing is pre-fishing, but really pre-fishing starts before you even hit the water. Pre-fishing needs to start after mapping and go from there.
Yeah, so let's get into Truman real quick.
Okay.
It's almost 8:00, but we'll keep rolling. You ain't got a bedtime, do you?
No. As long as we aren't boring the audience, then yeah.
I don't think so. Well, we're having fun if it's just the 3 of us. So
that's right.
Truman Lake is a brand new event for Twisted Cat. Really excited to go there. I've been wanting to go there for years. It's just a different animal. There's some other tournaments that go there. Actually, I was just talking to Shane White a little bit before and seeing how he does his, 5 fish limit. So that tournament, you said you've not been on Truman before?
No, I've never been on Truman. Never laid my eyes on it.
So we're going from a 3-fish Missouri, Mississippi River confluence area to Truman Lake, which is 5 fish, but the kicker is it's got a slot. So you got 2 overs and 3 under. The slot's 26 to 34 inches. Flatheads are not in the slot. Obviously, flatheads, in my opinion, I don't think we're going to see any flatheads. I think it's still a little too early. You never know. You always have somebody get lucky. But we'll see. How are you going? Never being there, knowing it's 5 fish, it's a slot, there's a lot of wood. Like, what are you doing? So you're going to get on Navionics, you're going to kind of do some studying, you're going to go down a few days early. How are you going to attack? This is a perfect kind of show. I mean, to be able to show what you're going to do for some of these new anglers.
Right.
I'm surprised he's not there already.
What's that?
I'm surprised you're not there already, Jay. You know?
Yeah. So I've already been doing some homework on the body of water just here at home. I've already got 4 different areas of interest that I definitely want to go through and look at. As far as like the size of fish, I'm looking for 5.25 and a half-inch fish. That's the way that I'm gonna view this tournament, because that slot, it's gonna be tough. Granted, do I want to catch a fish that's over 34? Absolutely. But if you're catching, in my eyes, if you're catching 5 fish that are right there at that, right before the slot, your chances of some bigger ones being in that area are probably pretty good. But that's the way that I'm going to probably attack the event. Go for 5.25 and a half-inch fish. And once those are in the box, start hog hunting from there. And hopefully you get an over while you're looking for the 25 and the 25 and a half inch fish, you know. I know that's crazy going from what we just fished over in Alton, but it'll be completely different. I cut my teeth on lakes with my grandfather way back in the day. Over here, a lake over here local to me. So I'll just use some of those tactics from way back in the day around this time and see if they work out over there. I mean, catfish is a catfish. It's just you're in a lake with no current at all.
Right.
So
slots are tough because it seems like on tournament day you'll catch 35 fish and they'll all be right in that slot and you got to throw them all back. I mean, it's slot tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll have to measure every single fish, so I really look forward to that. I'll look like an angler because I'll be slimed up while my gloves on.
Hopefully they
get one of those London suits.
Hopefully they bring in fish that you can tell, you know.
Absolutely. You know, Alex, you're gonna hate me because I'm gonna bring in 5.25 and a half inch. 5.25 and a half inch fish, just so you have to measure every one of them.
I'm gonna measure every fish, but I tell you what, I'm gonna have and I'll show that ruler next Monday night. But I use Kevin Parks' ruler. So Kevin Parks did a certified ruler and he sold them and all that. So that's what we use, and I'll have, and we'll just slide them on the table. And everybody, I guess, weighs fish different. We've always weighed them on their belly. I grab their head, put their head against the ruler, and then I swipe their tail. So I grab the tail, squeeze the tail, and try to get it over. So I remember my first Lake of the Ozarks tournament, that's 4 or 5 years ago now. It was like DQ City, man. You know, I don't know if they just nobody paid attention, but angler would come in, I'd put the fish on like 30 inches, like dead center of the slot. And I don't want to DQ anybody, but
right.
I mean, it just, it makes it tough. And and like I said, you can go catch a 50 there and then only have 1 fish to weigh in because the rest of the fish you caught were slot fish.
Sure.
That's a big deal.
Just absolutely. I would think that 50-pound fish might weigh. I don't know. I don't know enough about Truman to even really speak on it. I don't want to give a number because I've not really paid attention. I've never even seen the body of water. So I know, you know, there's a couple guides down there that do really well. But I don't know what even the average fish down there you're going to be even looking for. So I'm excited for new body water. That's one thing that I love that this trail brings me, is a chance to go out and learn a new body of water. And it gives me a reason, not that I don't need a reason to go, but it gives me an extra reason to really try and be there on that body of water and learn it. And, you know, I mean, that's one big thing that I really love about the trails. It gives you a chance to go learn a whole bunch of different bodies of water.
Yeah,
One
that's really. Go
When
ahead,
you're
Seth. Go ahead.
free fishing and you see something that looks like it might be 80 or 90 pounds suspended up off the bottom, it's a spoonbill. Don't get too excited. Giant spoonbill down there.
Yeah.
So
Well, I tell you what, I might have to go after some of them spoonbill after the tournament. I'll have to bring my dipsy divers with me and a couple my HDs, and we'll see if I can't get into some spoonbill afterwards.
Heck yeah.
hey, maybe you can take me on. Maybe you can take me on Sunday spoonbill fishing.
There you go. We'll give
So
her hell.
what you were saying earlier, keying on that, you were talking about, you know, going to a new lake and all that, and it makes you a better angler. And that's something I like with Twisted Cat. You're going from, you know, Truman Lake to Lower Mississippi to Upper Mississippi to Illinois River to the Ohio River. So it's like you're hitting a bunch of different bodies of water. Do you think, because as a director and watching anglers over the last 9 years, I think that anglers are getting much better because you can get really good on your home body of water and do the same thing over and over. Go out and go to the same hole every Saturday night and catch fish. But when you go to different bodies of water and you take a few things you learn from Truman and Pekin and Jeffersonville, and you start putting those things together, and you can go to a Truman Lake and really start attacking it differently than if you just fish your home water, you know, your whole life or whatever. So that's why a lot of these anglers that are tournament fishing, you know, talking with the other teams there and just really going out and learning different things. I think it becomes, do you think that that's helped you become a better angler?
100%. I would not be the angler that I am today without the tournament trail. I mean, it's given me a platform to go out and learn and try and understand what these fish are doing. And it's from like you said, Alex, it's from a bunch of different aspects. You know, every tournament, even if I don't pull away with what I thought I should have finished or where I thought I should have finished, one key aspect for me that I try and do as an angler and for myself is to at least pull two things from the weekend. May that be that, you know, the front was coming in and where were these fish, write it down. And then, you know, if there's a couple things I can write down from every tournament, and then you start going back and you're looking over all these key notes from every one of these tournaments, you start picking out patterns of where fish could be, regardless of the region that you're in. And, you know, it helps out tremendously, and it's helped me out. It's helped me grow. I mean, it forces you you want to catch fish, then you need to be out there and learning it and understanding and not just slinging baits. You're out there, you know, with intention to learn that day, and not just go out there and just throw baits out around and hope for the best.
It's really cool to see some of these guys that are really good everywhere come up and fish, say, my home water, and do things that we know better not to do and just destroy us, you know, make us look like they're not scared to try it. We think we've already got it all figured out up here and make us look like fools. So
absolutely.
It's really neat to see. I mean, traveling around obviously makes you a much better angler. I mean, you pick up all these tricks everywhere, and sometimes they work out.
Yes. Think outside the box. That's another one. You know, think out. I mean, all these anglers are going down. There's 67 boats going to this area. 40 of those boats are probably going to be thinking all the same thing. 20 of those boats or 15 of those boats are going to be in the same area. 5 of the boats that think outside the box, that hit the key aspects that it takes to win a tournament. That's the difference. You know, you got to think outside the box and what everybody else is doing.
For sure.
Because if the conditions present that, I guess, you know, hell, if 40 boats are bumping and we're in the July and on the Mississippi, obviously we're going to be bumping, but you know, it's always good to try and think outside the box, because thinking outside the box might put you that 80 or 90 pounder in the boat.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that 80, 90 pounder. I'm still stuck at 76.
Yeah, it'll happen. It'll
Where are you
happen.
at, Seth?
What's that?
Where are you at, on 26 or?
Yeah.
No, you got a big flathead.
I've got a 56-pound blue and a 58-pound flathead as mine.
That flathead's a beast. 58 pounds is. You're gonna have to go down to Bama to break that one, bud.
Where it came from. So.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, Jason, you caught some big flatheads up in my pool in pool 20 on the Mighty Miss.
Yes. That was an
We had a good
unbelievable
night that
What
night.
we put, Alex? 104 or 130 or 140 pounds of flathead in the boat that night.
A lot.
Unbelievable. That was a night I'll never forget. You, Nate Moore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, my phone wasn't working early in the night, but late in the night it started working again because I was getting pictures. But I didn't get an invitation. Strange.
I think it was your service because we sent an invite out.
Must have been what it was.
Berglund said his PB flathead is 75 pounds.
Who's that?
Berglund.
Wow.
That is I mean, a flathead is different,
it's a different
man.
animal.
When you get that size.
Yes. Pound for 75-pound fish. That's no joke there.
75 is a giant. And then Rusty said he's got one on 63. And Rusty, I'm glad if we ever have a tournament on the Kaskaskia River, I'm putting my money on Rusty.
Oh yeah.
He catches a lot of fish on that Kaskaskia. Randy said he didn't get an invite either. Hey, I sent the invite. Jason and Nate answered. That's all I can say.
I guess
it
was my tournament, so maybe you guys didn't want to have a conflict of interest or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And as far as Randy got the invite the next day. He fished that event with me. Him and old Hayden Hayden. Yeah, Hayden. Yeah, there you go.
Yep. But that was a fun night.
It was. I think Oscar took first, Breyer took second, and I think I took third, I believe.
Yeah.
That night, yeah.
Everybody got fourth or fifth.
Yeah.
I'm ready. We need to do a little something. Let's, this year we've got a lot of cool things that we're working on. I can't really say a lot of it, but we're going to do some more unique stuff. We'll probably throw some fun little, tournaments also together and do some more live stuff. So I'm kind of excited to get going. It's just finally the barges are starting to run up here. The ice is gone. I hope it's gone for good. We're going to still have some cold weather next weekend, but I'm ready. It's kind of, this was the first tournament. Now it's on. It's rock and roll. And it's like it's full power, full steam ahead. What do we got? 2 weeks, Truman. 2 weeks after that, Fort Madison, and then Sea Arc Invitational, Jeffersonville, Fishing for Freedom. I mean, that's just some of my stuff, and it's like I don't even know when I'm gonna breathe. Maybe like middle of June.
I've got 5 tournaments the next 5 weeks. This next weekend's my next weekend off, and then after that, it's tournament after tournament after tournament after tournament.
Are Alex and I going to be fishing against you in Miami on the 25th, or where are you going to be then?
You betcha. I'll be down there on the 25th.
Well, I might just stay home.
No, come on now. I want to compete against you.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's about.
Oh, yeah.
Camaraderie between us all. You got to be there.
I'm looking forward.
Yeah, so we got a $20 signed bill on that, right?
Hey, let's do it, baby.
I'm in.
And $20 bill look good right here on this pegboard.
You know what? Next Monday, I'm going to show all my $20 bills. I mean, they might have been won by not a lot of pounds, but they were won.
Yeah.
You probably got a grand and 20 trophy case.
Yeah.
I got enough 20s. Well, not a lot. I probably got like $120, but
no,
I don't know. I'm going to add to it.
Stack. It's about this thick.
Oh
yeah, I thought about spinning it on something nice, but I'm actually gonna make like a little board. I probably need to do dollar bills. It's hard to look at a bunch of 20s on the wall where you could maybe I could buy some more Demon Dragons or something.
Yeah,
I'll not buy a new car. $120 ain't gonna buy you much. Okay, come on.
$20, bud.
Keep stacking them, Alex.
You know
Keep
what?
stacking them and
That-
frame them at the very end of it all.
Jake said a funny thing. He said a lot of them are from Joe Lunsford, which is true because Joe,
Like that.
Joe makes a bet with the tournament director and it never goes well. And I'm like, I'm in. How about if I'm going to say that you don't weigh over 100 pounds. He's like, all right, bet. It's a good bet for me because weighing over 100 pounds in a tournament is really good. And
Yes.
he's finally quit betting me. So that's going to hurt my stack a little bit.
That dude was
Right?
funny about it. We could race snails and he'd throw 100 on it. And he'll
Oh, yeah.
actually pay up, unlike some of the other guys that'll bet on him.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's on that event, let's do a $20 bill, signed $20 bill, and a signed Demon Dragon. Because I got one of those from Ray Ferguson, the old catfish commissioner.
For what event? For the what
Miami.
event Miami? Let's do it. Done
Yeah.
deal.
Done deal.
Absolutely.
Well, I think I've covered everything I wanted to. We got a lot of info, a lot of good info for people. Hopefully everybody got excited. Talked about Alton, how that was up and down from 2022. And then got a lot of kind of our kickoff to Truman. We'll go live again next Monday night at 7. I don't know who our guest will be. Maybe we'll bring in some like Truman Lake ringer. Who knows? So we'll look at trying to get somebody for next Monday night. Hopefully we have a great event, great turnout at Truman. I haven't looked ahead on the weather. I looked ahead on the weather at Alton, and it was disappointing on Sunday. It's a high of 39 degrees for Saturday. Fast forward, it changes to 60. So I don't even look at the weather until like 2 or 3 days out because it just
Right.
changes so much. But yeah,
I'm
excited.
excited for it. I'm extremely excited for that event. Just like I said, go out and learn a new body of water. And I got a couple gentlemen that are coming with me from the Des Moines area that have never fished a catfishing tournament. So I'm extremely excited.
Yeah, so
for that
tell
aspect
us about that. Tell us about that you're doing some of these events and bringing on some new anglers.
Yeah, so I was trying to come up with a way that we could introduce some newer anglers to the sport. Guys that have never, either they don't have the means to fish a tournament, they don't have the boat, or they've always been on the fence. They've always wanted to do it, but we're always, they just haven't had a chance to do it. Those are the anglers that I've been kind of wanting to take out. And I had a couple gentlemen here in town in Des Moines area that reached out to me that I've known for a few years. They've never fished a tournament, and they've always wanted to fish with me. And they contacted me and said, "Hey, you want to take us out?" I said, "Well, absolutely." So I'm looking forward to it. Just a way to grow the sport, not keep everything to myself and try and give back a little bit to the guys the bank fishermen, the guys that would really love to be able to fish a tournament but just don't have the means. Those are the guys that I'm looking for. And I'm not trying to, I just want to show them a good time and show them what the catfishing industry has to offer if they were curious.
That's really cool. It's kind of dangerous to do in our sport, though. You bring these new guys in, and all of a sudden they're beating you in a couple of years. So this catfishing bug is a hard thing to kick. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to share my knowledge.
No, it's really cool.
I mean, if
really,
I get beat by someone that has learned from me, that puts a smile on my face because I know that I was able to hand something for me to them to grow the industry. And that's what it's going to take is guys willing to give back and grow it.
Absolutely.
It's crazy how much it's grown, don't you think? Over the last 4 or 5 years,
100%. Yes. It's
so addictive. Like I said, I came from a bass fishing background, and you can go out and catch 2, 3, 4 pound bass all the time. Well, that doesn't compare to hooking in 40 or, you might not catch the numbers that you do in a sport like that. You catch that big fish, you can't kick this bug. I don't care.
No.
Yeah, I was telling somebody the other day, if somebody said, I'll give you $100,000 if you go out in the next 2 hours and catch a crappie at some lake, it'd be bad. I wouldn't catch a crappie, but
Right.
I just got that catfish bug, and that's all I want to do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And like I said, Nate Bardo, actually, he fished this tournament. And last June at Fishing for Freedom, he was my angler that I took out. We won the tournament, caught a bunch of flatheads. And now he's all over the place. He's excited. He's fishing tournaments. And once you get that bug, it's on. I mean,
I was gonna say he's been bit. He's been bit with that bug. All it takes is one tournament. You know, I remember my first tournament was Jefferson City, 4 years ago, in my gator tracks, my very first tournament, and all it took was one tournament, and I was like, I've not missed a tournament since. It just, you get bit and it's done, and here we are 4 years later.
Yep.
And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
No, I agree. All right. Anything else you want to leave? Mention your sponsors or anything like that before we head out?
You know, Rip and Lips, obviously, Monster Rod Holder, Demon Dragons, Tackle Bandit, Catfish Clothing. They all believe in me, and I believe in them. And you know, I just appreciate everything. Every time I hit the water, they make sure I have what I need to be successful for that trip. And what more could an angler ask for? So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely huge. People are, don't understand how important sponsors can be, whether it's you as an angler, a tournament series, and just like, I've been dealing with it for years, getting sponsors, and we've been lucky and fortunate to have a lot of great sponsorships, to help make Twisted Cat, build it up like it is. And if you look at it now, we're doing 100% payback. And obviously you've seen that from last year an 80-20 into this year 100%, plus a big fish from Castaway Customs at $500. So we're way over 100% payback, and that's huge money. We can't do that without sponsorship. So, the ones you see below here, the ones you see on the trailer, the jerseys that we push on Twisted Cat, those are people, those are companies out there supporting us, helping us grow, helping the industry grow. And we can't thank you enough. So
absolutely.
All right. Well, you two stay on. Hopefully everybody enjoyed tonight. I'm going to play this video one more time for everybody watching. Enjoy this. This is the Alton, Illinois, March 4th, 2 days ago video recap by Brandon Martin, Daybreak Outdoors. He did an awesome job. We'll play that real quick, and we'll see you next Monday night at 7 o'clock with a special guest we'll announce very soon.
8 places today. It is some big money. 68 teams. Big shout out to all the sponsors, the spectators that came, anglers from traveling over 12 states.
We got a lot of changes out there with the weather, the water, but it's going to be a great day here in Alton, Illinois. Hey, we're here in Alton, Illinois for the season opener for the Twisted Cat Outdoors 2023 season. We got 68 teams from over 12 states.
Mason and Dan have thing for almost 2 weeks. Okay, nice one. Not bad. Oh, look at that.
There you go. Turn around here. Show that crowd.
The weather's a little rough today. We have some high water, some stuff floating down, but it's going to be a good day. Big payout, 100% payout, $500 on big fish added. We're really excited to get this season kicked off. A lot of new things coming with Twisted Cat Outdoors this season. A big shout out to the sponsors and the anglers and the spectators, everybody that supported us to get here. Like I said, you don't want to miss this season.
Well, 67.63 pounds. Did these guys around the ball? That is a monster. Go ahead and take them out and take some photos.
One thing is this. I would often have right now.
There you go. Come on. Turn around, put the crowd there.
Oh my.
Solid.
Oh my, that was close.
Close, 67.62 pounds. Give these guys a round of applause. That is a monster.
That is solid.
3 real solid fish. Number 2. That's a good bag, guys.
All right.
Close. Got some suspense going now. Come be close.
25.30 big.
Oh my goodness.
Bounce around.
We are locked 70.71 pounds.
They did it. 70.71.
Oh boy.
Second place, 70.05.
Whoa,
That's
that's
close.
fishing here. This team Mike Butler.
Good. There you go.
Good job, guys. Take some photos.
Okay, third place with 68.59. Justin Thornton and Dwayne Buckridge. Third place, $2,720. Woo! Second place was 70.05. Montpeel, Pete Moreland, Kevin Hoffman, $4,533. First place in Alton, Illinois, 70.71, not much more than second place. Jason Hamilton, Eddie Henny, John Berglund, $9,066.
Everything we caught on the same exact spot, same way we caught them on Thursday.
Was there trash that affected those spots at all?
Absolutely.
Did you fish in the trash?
We tried to stay out of the trash, stay in cleaner water. There was quite a bit of trash coming down, but by about 10 o'clock we were out of the trash. Trash was already down and coming on down the river, and that was a big plus for us.
And we got a lot of new things coming. We're really excited. Thanks, like I said, we had a good kickoff for the 2023 season, 68 teams here in Alton, Illinois. So everybody have a safe trip home, and we'll see you here in a few weeks.